Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and on this channel, I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Welcome to the Shelf Stable Pantry Cooking Collaboration. And if you guys are new to the collaboration, this is a monthly collaboration with myself and a bunch of other people led by Prepper Potpourri. All right, we got this one. Prepper Potpourri, I don't know why I can't say that. Basically, this challenge is supposed to be made up of 100% shelf-stable pantry items, and we're just making a meal or a dessert or a dish or something like that, and we are going to share with you guys how to use that. Sometimes in these collaborations, we'll use something that is not the pantry stable option, but, and I think I have one example of that today. But I will make sure to tell you how that you can actually make this with a pantry stable item, a shelf stable pantry item, whatever. But anyway, so today we're making something a little bit different, a little bit unique, and we're gonna be making a vegan taco bowl. Okay. Don't bulk at it and be like, oh my gosh, it's vegan or whatever. Like, you have to have the meat. You can put the meat in here. If you got the meat, use the meat. You can totally substitute, instead of the beans, you can totally substitute, or rather, instead of like the lentil taco meat that we're gonna be making for this one, you can just use ground beef, you can use stew meat, you can use chicken, you can use whatever you wish. But we are in the middle of moving and we are staying in an Airbnb. Around here, you can't find the shelf stable beef whatsoever. The only thing that you can find in my area is corned beef. So if you're new to filling up your pantry and you're just trying to find items that you can make, you're gonna have a hard time, at least in my area, trying to pick up anything anything canned that is not chicken or tuna. So I figured I would go ahead and throw out an option for something that is really readily available currently, and we're gonna be making it with beans and lentils. So the first step should have been done last night. I forgot about it, but it still can be done early enough in the morning. We're going to be rinsing and soaking our beans ahead of time, and the reason for this is that it helps to break down some of the stuff that gives you the gas, and breaking down like the phytic acid, stuff like that, and we're gonna be just washing it down the drain because it's just gonna be soaked right out. So the first step in this process is gonna be simply just to rinse. I'm not gonna do that when I'm talking, I'm sure that's quite loud. The first step in this process is gonna be just to rinse these off. We're just gonna run them under water for a minute and just make sure that the water is running clear by the time we're done with it. And we're gonna do that with the black beans as well as the chickpeas. And you can use pinto beans, you can use Great Northern beans, you can use whatever beans you have on hand, whatever beans you like, whatever beans give you the least amount of gastric distress. Now that the beans have been sorted through, they have been rinsed off, we're ready for the next step, and that is to put them in some kind of a pot, ideally a glass, but these are really the only two sizable glass jars that I have left that have not been packed. So I'm gonna use this pot for one of them. So we're just gonna add kind of like about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and that's gonna help to further break down the phytic acid and stuff in there. I've seen in various places that one of them said you only have to soak the black beans, but I'd rather just err on the side of caution, and I just soak all my beans because I have gastric distress issues and I do not wish to distress it further. So I soak them all. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just mix in the apple cider vinegar to all these guys. You can also just use a lid. I don't know about that, but I would definitely suggest starting this the night before, and you're letting them soak long enough. Change it in the morning, maybe change it one time throughout the day, and then the more you change it, the more opportunity that you have to flush out the phytic acid, the whatever it is that you're leaching out of these beans. Okay, so we'll see you tonight. It's been probably about 10 hours since we started to soak our beans. First thing we gotta do is to rinse these out a couple of times. We're gonna be making black beans, just black beans for the taco salad. We're gonna be making a taco meat with lentils and these here canned mushrooms. We are also gonna be making just a white wild rice to go over top of it. And what am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something, but that might be it. You can use whatever rice that you would like to use. I am just using wild rice because it's supposed to have the least amount of gut disrupting issues, so that's what I am liking to cook with. I don't use rice a whole lot. I'm just kind of experimenting and trying to get my body a little bit more used to having the extra carbs and rice and beans, stuff like that. I'm just trying to get my body used to it, so that's why we're cooking this meal, to get my body used to it. For the beans, we're gonna bring those up to a simmer. We're gonna let them simmer at a low heat for, it says for 1 hour, but we'll keep checking on them just to make sure. We just want to make sure that we're not overcooking them. We want them to still have as much bite as possible while still being cooked. So that's the idea, at least. The black beans have just started to come up to a simmer, so we're gonna go ahead and get started on our lentil taco meat. And also, while we were waiting, I don't know if you can see right there, that is our vegan potato nacho cheese, basically. And if you guys are interested in how I made that, it actually came out of a can, and you can make it yourself. You can get the whole potatoes, and you can get or not the whole potatoes, you can get whole potatoes, but you can get a can of canned potatoes and a thing of canned carrots, and you can totally just combine the two. And you can make what I made right there, but I made it from home canned potatoes, and I made let me show you. So I just canned up this. It is potatoes and carrots. You can see here it is a cheese starter, and so I just made that while we were waiting. So definitely check out the video. I will link it down below, or actually I'll link it at the end so you guys can check that one out, but I'll also link it down below because I'll probably forget. And so anyways, we did that while we were waiting. But I just don't want to take up this video with more steps. All of these things, you can just pick and choose which one of these ones that you want to do. You can make it as easy or as simple as you want to. My goal for this is to be as much on the healthier side as I can be with this more preserved type food, but also trying to be a bit more gut friendly. So I'm kind of trying to find a bit of a balance. Okay, so we're just gonna rinse off our lentils. So it says to combine 6 to 8 cups of water. We're definitely stretching our pot to the limit here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add in 2 cubes of this just to give it a little bit of flavor. Don't need to. Most of it will probably be dumped out anyways, so that's why we're not doing the full. You're supposed to do a cube per cup. I'm not adding 8 cubes of this stuff because that's a lot of salt. It says to bring it to a simmer, cover and simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. So we are gonna do that. While those lentils are cooking, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna prep the ingredients that we need to actually go into the lentils to turn it into the taco meat. Okay, so basically what you need is you need an onion. The recipe calls for an onion. You can substitute dehydrated onions. You can substitute freeze-dried onions. If you're rebel enough, if you have any canned onions, you can just substitute that. You could do like pickled onions. Well, I don't know if I do pickled onions for this step. I'm gonna be using a fresh onion. We have 5 more onions that we need to get through before we're ready to move. And so we're gonna go ahead and go through one of these. While the lentils are going, we got our onions sauteed, or we got our onions all chopped up. So we are gonna go ahead and just start browning those off. Okay, next up, we're gonna give it a little bit more of a texture by adding in some mushrooms. This is not called for in the recipe. You don't need to do it. I've made this type of meat before, taco meat. I've made this type of like taco whatever before, and I really enjoyed it much more with the mushrooms in it. And I'm gonna start off with 2 of these, and we're just gonna kind of chop this up into, I don't know, ground beef sizes, pieces. So we have these chipotle peppers in adobo sauce, and the recipe calls for 2 of these plus some of the sauce. It says to add in the peppers and the adobo sauce into the mixture. I'm gonna link this recipe down below for you guys because I'm not giving very real instructions for this. But basically, I'm just using the whole can for this. But that's my flavor profile. That's what I like. So same thing with the rice. We're gonna rinse it off until it runs clear, and then we're just gonna cook it on the stove until it's ready. So you can see it looks divine. So it says to add the lentils, taco seasoning, and broth to a pan. So we're gonna be using this here taco seasoning, and we're just gonna use the packet. Now we're gonna add in the mushrooms right before we add in the lentils. Because the lentils are pretty mushy. All the timings that I was given for these are wrong. So we go on the cautious side of life and undercook these things. Put lentils in here. That's pretty good. Needs a little something though. I kind of feel like it needs a bit more salt, because most of the salt that we used in the broth, I realized, got flushed down the drain. So add a little bit of salt, and I think it needs some vinegar, some type of an acidic component. Let's do a little bit of lemon juice. You can totally use apple cider vinegar if you are going strictly shelf stable. This is lime juice, so we're just gonna add maybe half of a tablespoon. Yep, this is perfect. Okay, so we're gonna set this aside. We're gonna turn the heat off so it doesn't keep cooking. And then we're gonna wait for our rice to cook. We have everything done. You can see over here we have the taco meat, we have the cheese sauces warmed up, the rice is ready, but we also have olives, corn, we have the beans here, the black beans. I chopped up some lettuce and some red onions here, just as an optional. Obviously those are not shelf stable. So we have first our rice here. I'm gonna try and do this to make it look pretty, but that's probably not gonna happen. And then the taco meat, some black beans. This is gonna be a plate for my husband. He's been patiently waiting all day for this. I'm gonna do some rice. This is corn. These are supposed to be sliced, and maybe half of these olives are actually sliced. Okay. Let's go with the cheese sauce, just to kind of bring it all together. You wanna try it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it on camera.
This is what you got for me. Oh, you gave me a big plate.
I didn't know what you You've been waiting all day. Figured you wanted one.
Yeah, I'll eat all. So we got a little bit of beans, corn, rice, onion. Alright. That works.
You like it?
This is vegan, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You didn't use any oil in this?
I used a little bit on the chickpea.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it.
There you have it, folks. It's a winner.
Husband approved, even if it's vegan. So I got everything assembled here. I went ahead and put it on top of the lettuce. And then one thing that I had forgotten about that Robert remembered, we have some sour cream if you wish. You can definitely, this is easily substituted with, they make a powdered sour cream, and you can totally use that. And you can also just omit it. You don't have to have it. And then salsa. Salsa is generally, if you get a small enough bottle, you can just have it gone in like one sitting. So it's basically shelf stable. Let me give this a try here. Got a little bit of the rice, a little bit of the cheese sauce. Got a little bit of everything here going on. Oops, some of it just fell off. That one's really good. I like it. There's tons of different flavors, tons of different textures. I really enjoy that. I like that a lot. I'm definitely gonna have to make that one again. And again, you don't have to make this vegan. You can totally use like any kind of meat that you have. I was just trying to go for, meat's expensive these days, so I was giving everybody kind of an alternative, different way of doing things that you can have just delicious shelf-stable food, and you don't have to have meat. I hope that you guys find encouragement in this. Shelf-stable meals do not have to be boring. They do not have to be, they can be as simple or as complex as you want them to be. And I think I've shown you a bunch of different ways that you guys can actually make this meal. You can make it as gut friendly or not as you wish. You can make this as convenient or, you know, prepare ahead as you want it to be also. I hope that you guys try this. I hope that you guys enjoy it. Make sure that you guys look in the description box down below. You're gonna find links to all the other channels, and I'm also gonna put a link to the playlist where Prepper Potpourri has all of these linked to. So I hope you guys check that out. Check out the other channels, subscribe over there, and enjoy all the videos that everybody's putting out. This is, again, going to be the first Tuesday of every month, and so make sure that you keep checking, staying tuned. Make sure that you continue to stay tuned for all the recipes coming up. Print them all out so that you can keep them in your binder and just have a bunch of ideas for your pantry. If you guys are new around here, I like to do all kinds of videos on food preservation, both preserving it as well as cooking it, like in these videos here. I do canning, freezing, dehydrating, fermenting, and I like to give everybody all kinds of different ideas of things that they can do with it. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you check out this link right here. This is the subscription button. This is where all the fun happens. This video up here is one that Mr. Google Pants thinks that you are going to enjoy. This one here is my last meal of the pantry cooking, and then this one up here is my pantry meals playlist. So I hope that you guys will check that out. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.